Hey everybody, I'm Scotty Rocker, and this is the Rock Report. So I'm trying something new here, using all my fancy equipment that I like to shoot the rock and roll rundown with. And I know a lot of you are familiar with that, the broadcasts I do where I tell everybody where all the local bands are playing here in northern Indiana and surrounding areas. Well, this is going to be a little bit different. We're going to talk about some of our favorite rock stars and rock bands and things going on. You know, a lot of it's classic rock that I'm going to cover. You know, from, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s alternative, which is now probably classic alternative, 30 years. That's hard to believe. No, I won't get much into the newer groups into the late 2000s. I don't really like that stuff. But if you do, that's great. That's cool. Everybody, I'm just a old fat guy from North Webster, so my opinion probably doesn't mean much, but I hope you will tune into the Rock Report and give me some ideas. What would you like to talk about? And I'll bring that stuff up, right? Tonight I want to, this broadcast here, I want to talk about Gene Simmons and Peter Criss. Oh, Gene, whenever that guy opens his mouth, he gets in a world of hurt, don't he? Good grief. He's talking about, he was talking to the one guy on YouTube. Boy's got a great YouTube channel. I'll have to look that guy up. I'll put it up here on the screen. He's got a great channel, and he interviewed Gene about 3 weeks ago, maybe a month ago, where Gene said that Peter wasn't a musician, and he didn't really write Beth. Okay, which is, I believe, their biggest hit, right, is the B-side to Detroit Rock City. Back in, when was that, 77? Destroyer, which is my favorite Kiss album, followed by Revenge. So Gene said that Peter didn't really write that song. And and he said, it's time to set the record straight, time to get it off his shoulders or off his chest or something like that. I'm thinking for the last 40, damn near 50 years, they've all given credit to Peter for writing that song. And I'll tell you what, he sings it. I got to hear him sing it when they were ending their reunion tour back in the year 2000. I got to hear Peter sing that, which was pretty cool. And also Eric Singer does a great job singing that song. Eric Singer can sing. He's a very good singer, and he did Beth too, which was cool. I saw that on the Freedom to Rock tour, and I believe they did it in 2012 on the tour, which, by the way, was one of the greatest rock and roll shows I've ever seen. Okay, so let's, Peter fires back and says, what the hell, Gene, what are you talking about? He said Gene wasn't even there when they were recording that song with Bob Ezrin and whatnot, and I'm sure Ezrin obviously had his fingerprint all over that song, so... And Gene always said that he's the one that said, well, why don't you call it? Peter was singing Beck. And Gene said, why don't you call it, something else, Beth or something like that. I believe that's the story. So, but Gene says that Peter didn't really write it. And some other guy wrote it, and Peter gets the credit. This other guy doesn't get the credit for it. But... listening to the three of them talk about it, the four of them, Ace, Paul, Gene, and Peter. I think Peter wrote that song. I mean, he obviously had something to do with it, or they were lying for 50 years, So, and I don't think they were. I think Gene's just, like Peter said, he wasn't even around when they were recording it, because there's no parts on it. It's just, what is it? Orchestration, piano, which I'm sure was played by Bob. And then Peter, of course, does a really good job, very pleasant voice. He sang Hard Luck Woman. God, what a great song that is. And an awesome video to that song, by the way. And I always liked it when Paul said they were thinking about Rod Stewart, and that is definitely, I would love to hear Rod Stewart sing Hard Luck Woman, and maybe someone's got that out there somewhere, because they wrote that with him in mind, and Peter nails it. I like playing that song myself. Such a great song. So what do you guys think? You know, Peter Wright, Beth, that's their number one hit, their biggest hit, I should say. Not their number one, but their biggest hit was Beth. So, you know, and of course the drum. And I would be a little miffed, I suppose, if I was Peter or Gene and Paul and you know, the main two songwriters of that band, and they didn't write the biggest hit, you know. And it's not my favorite. You know, yeah, it's a good song, great song, big hit. I get it, but they got a lot of others that are way better. But you know, I suppose people like a nice love song like Beth. Yeah. Well, let me know what you think. Peter write it? Is Gene full of sh? You know, yeah, I know when he opens his mouth, he usually gets in some trouble, don't he, folks? Funny stuff. Always controversy, Gene is.